Maybe you're coming to Canada to work, and each month you might have a little bit of extra money left over. Or maybe you're coming to Canada and you already have some funds you wish to put in the savings account. Well, today on Tishy Dilko, we're going to tell you about all the savings and investment options in Canada.
Gud subscribe ให้พวกเราด้วยนะคะ
Sadi Cup. Hello and welcome to Tishy Dilko. Today we're going to tell you a little bit about all the savings and investment options in Canada. And this content actually comes to us from one of our viewers. So thank you very much for that. But before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss any more videos from us. Alright, so you're moving to Canada to work, you have some money left over each month that you want to save and maybe earn some interest on, or you're coming to Canada with some funds saved up and you want a safe place to store them or to invest them while you're in the country. Well, there are several options in Canada, both for plans depending on your financial goals and also products to engage in, whether it's, safe savings accounts or investment options. And we're going to go into those briefly today. One thing to know is that before you do, purchase a product, some of them will, maybe be available for permanent residents only or citizens, or some of them, temporary workers may be able to engage in. So make sure to check with your financial institution before you buy. The first thing to talk about is there are 4 primary plans, let's call them, in Canada that can help you invest or save depending on your financial goals. And again, there are others, but these would be the 4 main plans. The first one, tax-free savings account, or TFSA. Now, this plan is exactly how it sounds. So in Canada, whether you are investing or saving, the money you make when you invest other money, or the money you make on interest, that is taxable income. They're treated a bit differently with taxes, but just so you know, both those earnings are taxable. And what a tax-free savings account allows people to do in Canada is to save or invest via this plan where the earnings are tax-free. Important to note is that you have an annual contribution limit, meaning you can only put so much in every year. The next one, registered retirement savings plan. And again, it has the word retirement in it, and this is a self-directed fund. It could be a safe, secure savings or an investment account, but it's money put away to save for retirement. So if you do come to Canada and end up staying long-term, this might be something to consider. And the benefit with a registered retirement savings plan is any money you put in gives you some tax savings when you do your annual income tax. The third one, registered educational savings plan, or RESP. This one, specific to education, but not for yourself. This would be a savings plan for education for your children. So the key to this plan is that you put money away, whether it's every month, every week, or lump sums, and it is a savings account that can be invested or saved and earn interest, and it's to save eventually for your children's educational needs in the future. And again, with this one, there is an annual contribution amount, an annual amount you can put in, and the government will match up to a certain amount that you put away in order to invest in your child's post-secondary education after high school. And last but not least, Canada's newest savings program is what's known as the First Home Savings Account. Now, this plan is not quite ready yet from the federal government, but it is being worked on both at the federal government and financial institutions and will be available to use in 2023. And it's exactly how it sounds. Your financial goal is saving for your first home. So it allows you, again, to put money into this plan, whether it's invested or a savings account with interest, and it allows you to save for your first home. That money can then be used for a down payment. And the good thing about this is, longer term, if you end up not buying, the money can be transferred, tax-free into the retirement plan, the registered retirement savings plan, if you decide not to buy. So those are the four, probably major investing savings plans we have in Canada. However, you may have noticed that I was talking about that they can be used as a typical savings account, or you can invest within them. And that's really kind of the point. So regardless of your financial situation or maybe your riskiness in terms of investing in savings, these plans are not necessarily products, but they're kind of umbrella plans where many financial products can roll up under those plans. So, for example, any one of those four plans, you could choose to apply a savings product to any of those plans, meaning, a tax-free savings account could be as simple as a interest-bearing typical savings account where you store money, it earns a specific interest rate depending on what your financial institution offers, and that would be the product within the tax-free savings account. And there's a variety of types of savings accounts in Canada, whether it's, a high interest account, a typical savings account where you can move money as freely as you want. There are what's known as term deposits, so you sign up for maybe a year, 3 years, 5 years, and you earn a different interest rate. And with term deposits, these are typically known as GICs, or Guaranteed Investment Certificates. And what this is, a GIC, is you invest, say, $500, $1,000, you are guaranteed at the end of the 1-year term, 3-year term, etc., to receive your initial investment back plus the interest you earn in that time period. So you never have a risk of losing any money that you originally invested in a GIC. Moving away from typical savings accounts that can be applied to the TFSA, to the RRSP, all those umbrella plans, we also have many investing opportunities in Canada. So investing, it could be, stock market investments. In Canada, we can trade in any North American exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ. Also, we have the Toronto Stock Exchange in Canada. But we can trade all across the world, whether it's European exchanges or the Nikkei in Japan. All these are available depending on the financial institution you bank with. And there are also a number of, investing-only providers, which will allow you to self-direct funds. Or with financial institutions, you can work with an advisor to help you with your investments if that's the route you choose. As I mentioned, just with savings accounts that can be applied to, those umbrella plans, so can investing accounts. And typically, these investing accounts are, they are comprised of stocks and assets and securities, the most common of which is known in Canada as a mutual fund. And a mutual fund is a grouping of assets that's directed by a fund manager. You typically pay a little bit of higher fees for someone else to manage. But in Canada, these can be rolled up into the TFSA, an RRSP, any of those plans we talked about earlier. An alternative to investing directly in stocks or mutual funds is in purchasing an ETF or an exchange-traded fund. And an exchange-traded fund allows you to essentially invest in the entire growth of an exchange or portfolio, such as the Dow Jones in the United States or other, exchanges all across the world. And what this allows you to do is if that, exchange is growing over time, your return will be the average growth. So you don't necessarily see those huge ups and downs if you were investing directly in a stock or other investable asset. So just to recap, whether you're choosing, maybe a more typical interest savings option or an investment option, these types of financial products in Canada can feed up into those plans, the first home savings account, the tax-free savings account, the educational savings plan, or the retirement savings plan. One thing I do want to call out within Canada, we do also have options to invest in global currencies and trade currencies, and also in cryptocurrencies. Now, for the latter, not every institution has options to engage in cryptocurrency, purchase and trading. However, there are many legitimate providers in the country that, if that's an interest of yours, have options to invest in and trade and purchase cryptocurrency. One thing to be mindful of is in Canada, cryptocurrencies are treated as an investable asset, like a stock for the most part. So the tax implications mirror those types of assets. However, day trading those things, then they are typically treated as currencies and have a whole set of different tax implications. Now, we're not going to go into all those details today because there is lots to know and lots of deeper detail we could get into. But just so you know, if you are coming to Canada and you are investing or purchasing any of these things, best to be sure you're informed on, any tax implications or just the status of yourself in the country and what you can and can't engage with. All right, well, we hope this gave you a brief overview of, savings and investment options in Canada and how we have plans that maybe suit your specific financial goals. And it's not necessarily that you're required just to only use one of those savings plans at a time. Regardless of your financial goals in Canada, each one of those specific savings plans could be an option for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you do have more specific questions on any of the topics we discussed today, we'd be happy to answer you in the comments, or you can email us if you have a more detailed question and we'll get back to you. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and share to your friends if they are interested in this kind of content. If they're thinking about moving to Canada or they're already in Canada, we really appreciate all the support and we hope you have a great day. Sadi Cup. See you next video.